According to FamiliesFightingFlu.org, James was a healthy 14-month-old boy who spent a winter afternoon with his family at the Boston Children's Museum. Later that day, James began to run a fever that progressed into the next day with the addition of a cough and wheezing. James's mother attempted home remedies to reduce his fever without prevail. James's mother awoke the next day to James having severe wheezing and labored breathing. James's mother took him to his pediatrician, who in turn rushed James to the emergency room, what they thought would result in breathing treatments of oxygen. Unfortunately, sadly, after James had arrived to the hospital, James died. The autopsy revealed that James had influenza and a bronchial virus that was the result of his death. James was not vaccinated. My name is Megan Curtis, and I've recently done research regarding vaccinations and their impact on society. Vaccinations are not only safe and effective, but important for public health and safety. I will discuss the efficacy of vaccinations, how vaccinations work, and the contemporary controversy surrounding the anti-vax movement. According to the Mayo Clinic, smallpox is a contagious, disfiguring, deadly disease that has affected humans for thousands of years. Before the development of the smallpox vaccinations, 20 to 60% of adults and 80% of children infected with this disease died from it. According to Introduction to Pharmacology, it is estimated that the death toll during the 20th century alone was between 300 and 500 million people, which is greater than all wars combined today. English physician Edward Jenner developed the first vaccinations for smallpox in 1796. Between 1796 through 1980, there was a steady decline in the smallpox virus, eventually leading to eradication worldwide by 1980. As you can see, smallpox was epidemic for thousands of years that killed millions of people. Because of the development and administration of vaccines, we were effectively able to eradicate a disease from the world population. There has been controversies surrounding the safety of vaccinations. However, all scientific studies have shown vaccinations to be extremely safe. To understand the physiological mechanisms of vaccines, I will explain how vaccinations work within our body. Live and inactive vaccinations work hand in hand with our immunity. The first one being live vaccinations that must replicate in the vaccinated person to be effective. Because of this, vaccinations can result in severe or fatal reactions. However, this only occurs in the immunodeficient person, such as somebody that may have HIV or cancer. This occurs because their immune system has been weakened, but a normal healthy person would be able to fight this off. Inactive vaccinations are live viruses that have been created in a laboratory and then inactivated. Because this vaccine is not alive, it cannot replicate. Because these vaccines are not alive, they cannot cause disease even in an immunodeficient person. Finally, I would like to discuss the contemporary controversy surrounding the anti-vax movement. The anti-vax movement believes that vaccines cause autism. This is due to a very controversial, fraudulent study that was conducted by Dr. Andrew Wakefield. Dr. Wakefield published a paper in 1998 claiming that the MMR vaccination was directly linked to causing autism. Because of his claims in the British Lancet paper, the media sensationalized the link between vaccinations and autism, which started the anti-vax movement. Dr. Wakefield's claims prompted scientists to attempt to reproduce his findings, in which all attempts have failed even up to today. Furthermore, it was discovered that Dr. Wakefield's study was largely funded by lawyers of parents seeking to sue vaccine makers for damages. To make matters even worse, It was also discovered that he owned the patent to a new type of vaccine that would have replaced the MMR virus if it had been taken off the market based on his claims. Many anti-vaxxers also claim thimerosal, a preservative in vaccines that contains mercury, causes autism. According to the CDC, there is no scientific evidence that suggests that thimerosal is linked to neurological disorders such as autism. Due to the controversy surrounding this preservative in vaccinations, vaccine manufacturers have voluntarily taken out thimerosal out of production. WebMD states that since thimerosal has been removed from vaccines, the rates of autism continue to rise, further disproving the link between vaccinations and autism. Based on the evidence I have given you, there is no scientific evidence that suggests vaccinations are harmful, as the anti-vax movement and Dr. Wakefield claim. In conclusion, since the development of the first vaccination in 1796, the efficacy of vaccinations have not only reduced mortality rates, but have successfully eradicated diseases that have claimed the lives of millions of people through the centuries. Credible sources such as the CDC stand behind scientific research and development of live and inactive vaccines. As I discussed earlier, there is only a potential risk of reaction in the immunodeficient person with live vaccines, and there is no risk potential in inactivated forms of vaccines, even in the immunodeficient. Through extensive research and scientific studies, vaccinations have been proven to not only be effective, but also incredibly safe, which further disproves the many negative claims surrounding vaccinations. To be able to not only prevent but eradicate disease because of vaccinations is such a gift to humanity. Thank you.